ahead and trace the top piece. To do the eyes and the mouth, I'm going to show you a trick of how I do that, how I accomplish that. I'm going to take this, and you can find it on my website at isowithjoy.com. And then I'm going to place it there through that. And this doesn't have to be perfect, so you're just trying to work with what you have. There's my heat erasable pen, and then just use it to trace around there. And the reason you want to do this is because you want to cut this part out so that you can add the eyes. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so now that's done. And the next thing, I can set this aside. You can find this on my page at isowithjoy.com. The next thing is I'm going to get a pair of scissors and work on taking or cutting that. I'll do the same thing for the eye as well. On both eyes. And the reason for that is that when you go ahead and bond this to your fabric, because we're not using a Cricut, when you bond this to your fabric, you don't want the eyes to come through. So if you have a X-Acto knife, that's also an option that you can use. And I'll show you a trick of how the eyes will be put through, because again, you'll be bonding this to your fabric. And this is just going to make a really, really cute throw pillow that you can put in your family room for a seasonal festive time of year. And also, we're going to be doing this as kind of just a way to add some pizzazz to your couch. So, and the reason I'm not using my sharper pair of scissors is because, remember, once you have a fabric pair of scissors, it's not for things like this. So I am just going to cut this out, and it does take some time. So just be careful, work your way through. If you have an easier way to cut it, you can go for it. But I think this is one of those things that, because it's such an easy project to make once you get your pieces together, you don't need to rush through it. Just take your time. It's glow-in-the-dark vinyl, so it will glow once it's done. Once it's heat bonded to your fabric. If you're just joining me, I am making a Halloween throw pillow. It's a glow-in-the-dark one, so just making something festive. And here I have traced out my ghost. I'll put this on my website so you don't have to go looking for a ghost, but you can basically do this for anything, a ghoul, a pumpkin, whatever it is you want to do. And the brand I got, which I will link in my Amazon storefront, is one that you can absolutely get multiple different colors for it. So you don't need to feel like, you have to do something else. So, all right, ghost is traced and ready to go. So we'll set that aside, and now we're going to start the process for actually folding our piece of fabric. So let me get some background music going, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Because I heard people don't like it too quiet. So now this is where I have my piece of fabric is 14 inches by 48. So basically, you're going to 3 times whatever it is by your pillow. So my pillow is a 14-inch square pillow, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this with the right side facing me, and then using my ruler, I'm going to find my 14-inch mark, which is right here, because I want to be able to see this. And I'm just going to do the same thing there. Okay. So now I know where that is. I'll set that aside for now. And then the next thing I'm going to do is fold this to where that mark is. And because this is it's a fabric piece that has lines that you can basically work with, it's much easier to identify where your marks are, as opposed to trying to figure that out on your own. Or if you wanted to use an iron, you can always iron it so that you know where that is. So now this is 14 inches. Um, any good sewers will tell you always measure first before you cut. So I am measuring. That's a little off. So that tells me that either the fabric is not folded properly or I am not fully. Okay. So that tells me it's done now. Great. All right. So that's what that looks like. And then, so now I have this and I am going to put this again, right sides facing me, right sides facing me. So fold that 14-inch piece that you had already folded, fold it again in half. And then now you're going to take this longer part and just place it over the sides you already had. And this is where you start your clipping, clip, clip, clip. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love my sewing clips because it just makes life a whole lot easier. And I got to a point where I got tired of being poked all the time. So, all right. And then I think I will use these to hold it down, primarily because I didn't iron this piece of fabric. So it has the edges that are a little wrinkled. And I want to make sure I get all of it when I am working on this or when I'm sewing it down. So I'm going to iron all of this. And this is what you would call an envelope pillow. It doesn't require a zipper. Very, very beginner friendly. All right. So literally, if you can sew a straight line, you can do this one. So now I'm going to go to my machine and sew a straight line using a 1/2 inch seam, actually less than a 1/2 inch, a 5/8 seam allowance, because I know I want my pillow to be a little more puffier. So again, don't forget you already have this. The other thing which I haven't already cut yet is I have the black fabric. I haven't decided yet whether I want to use that or if I want to use I have so much leftover pieces around, so I just might use some of the felt that I already have to do the eyes and the mouth because it doesn't really require much. So I'll set that aside for now instead of getting distracted, and I'll come back. So remember, I am just sewing 2 straight lines. Literally, this has to be the easiest pillow that you can actually make. So it doesn't take any time at all. And like I said, I teach a class, and what I always tell my students is if you're not sure what 5/8 of an inch is, right on your machine, it does it. So if you look on the back of your machine there, it has a ruler that will tell you where 5/8 of an inch is, which is great. So anyway, so let's go with that. We'll go with a 5/8 of an inch. Actually, I'm sorry. I said 5/8. I mean a quarter of an inch. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's a quarter of an inch there. And if you know how to sew a straight line, you can do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I sew this all down. And, I'm just looking to make sure I'm catching all layers of it because you don't want a throw pillow that'll come apart. Granted, it's seasonal. It's for Halloween season, but it's still can reuse later. So I back stitched right there. I'm going to go ahead and take off this extra here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this other end here. Actually, I want to start it on this side here so that I can make sure I have both places fully aligned. And again, 1/4 of an inch back stitch to start, and you always do that to hold it. Um, you don't always have to backstitch your work. I do that when I am sewing something that might have more hands on it, as in multiple people might be touching it, because it's always very easy for people to touch and pull or tug on something, and you want it to last. So if you do want something to last, you kind of want to make sure that you're reinforcing it, which is why that's basically what a backstitch is, to reinforce your fabric. Let's go down. Okay, that's it. Would you believe it? That's literally how to sew an envelope pillow. So I'm gonna take this off, cut the threads, take off my clips, and then next thing I'm going to do is turn it inside out. And don't worry too much about the edges. You'll see that it actually does get folded in. So I know, don't worry about this raw edge, because what you do is you put your pillow in there and then you flip this around, and this is what it'll look like. So that's what we're actually going to do now, because we are ready to put the eyes on our ghost. So because sewing is done, I'm going to turn this off, move this out of the way, and now come to my fabric pillow piece. So this is where you use for putting this in, but I'm not doing it on that end. I'm going to flip it to the other side, because this is the side I want my guests to see when they come in. And I want to make sure this is equidistant. So what I'm going to do, and also poke out the holes properly. So let's do that as well. So to make sure it's equidistant, I will measure out and figure out where the middle is, the center of my piece here. Okay, so this is it fully folded. So now I know where my centerpiece is, and I'm going to take my ghost and just, this is the printouts that I have. You can find this again on my website. And I'm going to line it there so you'll see what I'm doing. So now I know this is my center, and I think this is a good placement for it. And I'm just going to line it there. So now I know this is where I want my ghost. So since I have this ready, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And like I said, I'm going to use felt for the eyes, which it's a little lighter, but that's okay. So I feel like this will do just fine, and I have just about enough. So I'll use that. And I'm going to go ahead and draw these on there. So and obviously this is smaller based on how I'm doing it. So this is actually just creating the outline for me. And I'll do the mouth here. And this is just a fabric marker. So like I said, I'm going to go on the outside of this to create the eyes, not inside, because when you saw me tracing that out, I was doing, and again, this is supposed to be fun. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it is a great beginner friendly project for little ones, or anyone who's just starting out. You want to show off your new sewing skill. This is a good way to do it. Okay. All right. So now I have that. Oh, I didn't do the mouth there. And the way I'm going to work on this is I'm going to use it on the opposite side. So you don't need to worry too much about that. Okay. So now I have all my pieces. I'm going to set those aside and then now actually come here and cut the actual ghosts now. Because I'm not using a Cricut, which you obviously have the option to. That's your prerogative. I just don't feel that it warrants turning on my Cricut. So this is kind of like a workaround for that. If you're not interested, obviously a machine will do it to precision or do all the cuts to precision for you. If you do want to see this with a Cricut, let me know. I can show you how to upload that. I can do a live on how to upload it and get it onto your machine to do the cut for you. It's rather easy actually. So again, once you use the scissors for one thing, for cutting paper, it does not touch. You can't use it for fabric. So these are actually a pair of scissors I keep on my desk, my work desk, so that I don't accidentally use a different pair. And I always have this handy. Also, my family knows, don't you dare use my fabric scissors for anything. We're going to have a problem, a big problem. All right. So corners are what takes a little bit of time, but you know, again, a cute ghost, so you don't want to do too much. And this is one, why go to Hobby Lobby when you can do it yourself, right? I love the quote that says, instead of paying $10 for it, I bought, $100 worth of supplies to make it myself. Now, I didn't do that in this case because I primarily used items I had at home, but hey, you know what I mean. I'm sure every sewist has been there. All right. So the part I didn't add is you will need your heat and iron for this because it does require that you bond it to the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and try to take this off. Oh, actually, nope. So it's not. So I'm going to cut this first. I mean, fold it. Why do I keep saying the wrong words? Okay. And this is where I want it. Make sure it's centered. Okay. And I will use my bigger clips. I have a couple of bigger clips here. These. And I'm going to just hold it while I get my heating iron. I get it to the temperature I want so that I can get this pressed. And because I don't have it right here, I'm going to have to turn that on. So give me a second. Okay. So this here, let's set that aside. This is my Cricut heat press. It's heavy. This is one of the earlier version ones, but I love it because it really does the job. And I'm going to turn it on and put it on the ground. But for me, it's already preset. That's the temperature I always use for my vinyl 330. And you just press this and it'll get it heated to the temperature you want. So I'm going to set that aside now and get my heating pad. Okay, so this is actually another item from Cricut. It's a heating pad and it works great. So for this part, you're just going to follow the directions that it gives. Okay, it's okay to fold this because you're not sewing it on there. I just wanted to align it properly. And once the iron is ready, it'll tell me it's up to 155 degrees. Let me know if there are other videos you would like to see. I'm excited about this one. So once I do this, what I'm going to do is take these pieces and put them underneath. Okay, so I can literally put it through right there. Put that there and put that there. So this is what it's going to look like. But first, I have to get my heater done. And for this parts here, I think I will turn on my machine again and sew it down so that it really does stay down because it doesn't have glue on it. And I don't want to have to use heat and bond for it. So it just makes life easier. Or basting adhesive, which I can use actually, since I do have some handy, I will use the basting adhesive once I'm done with that. But for now, let's get that to the right temperature. It's at 270. It's heating up. Yay. So I'm just getting something to drink. Put this aside. I don't know about you, but whenever I sew, I end up with so much stuff on my sewing table. I'm like, geez, man, I just want to get things done. I just want to sew and still have a clean, happy space. All right. So this obviously has a lot of wear and tear. And the reason is because I always use it as the base piece when I'm doing any pressing. So I think it needs a little more. So I will put that on there and I will take off my clips because otherwise it will melt it. But now my press is at 330. So I'm going to take that and start the process of pressing it. Okay, so it usually does say I try to do 30 seconds. So we'll just hit start. Obviously, it's been on there for more than 30 seconds, but hey, shout out to Cricut, right? I've had this heating iron for years and years and years now, but it's amazing how fast and how quickly 30 seconds goes by. So that's one of those fun things. So this is the first go with it at 330 degrees. You want to make sure you're pressing it down a little bit. You absolutely need this pad or else you'll ruin your surface or ruin your table. So what I'm going to do is I've done my first go. And now I'm going to take off my vinyl piece. And if the vinyl starts to come up, then you know it's not ready yet. But in this case, I'm going to be very careful as I take it off. See, right there, it's not ready, but that's okay because I'm going to press it again, but without the vinyl or without the vinyl on there. So okay. So obviously still looking a little whatever, which tells me that it's not fully bonded. Oh, that went underneath. It's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And I'm now going to do my full press. And this time I'm only going to do it for 20 seconds. Obviously it's longer than 20 seconds because it's been sitting on there and I want to make sure I get every part of it. So I will press it down. Okay. And there you go. I'm going to press it again for another 20, even though it's basically what I want but I feel like you could use one more press, and I will straighten this up a little bit. And I'll do another press on the top as well, just so the edges are fully captured. And I will do another one for the top, like I said. And right now, I mean, I can guarantee you this is not going anywhere. So I do think I want to have this zigzags around my vinyl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my utility, my zigzag stitches. All right, so I'm going to put this aside, turn it off. It's really actually it's very heavy, and it also does it takes a while to cool down. So I'm gonna set that aside, and then next thing, we're almost completely done. And if you want to actually add boo or something on there, it's that will make it even more cute. But there we go. So set this aside as well. And now what I want to do is, no, I think I'll leave it as is. I don't think I need anything extra. What do you think? All right. So if you want to sew this down, which you will for the eyes, you want to make sure that you have you're not pulling both sides, because obviously it already has that. So we're going to go ahead and sew the eyes down. Again, you want to ensure you're not sewing on there. The vinyl should stay put now. And we're going to sew this around. So would you believe it if I told you I was standing to sew this? I'm trying not to move so that I don't get burned by my iron. So and the eyes should be, one eye is done. Where are my shares? There we go. And we'll do the other one. Making sure I'm not grabbing the back piece. I embroider, and I have had situations where I embroidered both pieces together. Oh, that's the worst thing, when you finish and you're thinking, yay, I'm finally done. And then you pull it off the machine, and then you're like, oh my word, did I just embroider on my pieces? It's yeah, it's one of those things. It's a hard lesson to learn, but once you learn it once, you learn to babysit that machine. You're like, nope, I'm not letting it go. I'm going to watch it like a hawk until it's done. So again, this is not for perfection. You are doing this as a beginner or something just decorative for your family room. Okay, so and like I said, I'm standing, so until my machine or my iron warms up. Okay, so for this one, I do think I want to cut a slightly larger piece, and the primary reason for that is because while I can get away with, oh, the eyes are slightly off, I don't think I can get away with that for the mouth. So I will cut another piece for the mouth, and I'm going to trace that so I can get a better um, size for it. Oh, I already have a small piece here. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just I'm using the light from my machine, from this to trace on there. So if you don't have a light pad or something, this is another trick you can use, and just cut it out. Because I think I cut the piece too small and I want to correct that. You know, that's one of the great things about going live, because you can't hide your mistakes so easily. Oftentimes you see sewists who sew things and you're just like, oh my God, they're so perfect. No, we all make mistakes. There's a reason they invented seam rippers. It's because of sewists. Like, we make several mistakes and often need to redo, undo, and correct several things. So I'm going to sew this directly on top of that space there, because the eyes, like I said, you can have a little orange in the eyes, but you can't have orange in the lips, or the mouth rather. So okay, and we're almost done. This has to be like, I know it's taking a little longer, but that's just because I'm walking you through every single step. If I wasn't trying to film this, I would be done in 10 minutes, honestly, because it doesn't take that long. I mean, maybe the pressing will take about 2 or 3 minutes, but the pillow itself takes next to no time, which is what makes it a perfect beginner friendly project. And there you have it. Like, this is all done. Your ghost pillow, and now we're going to stuff away. So I actually already have a pillow in my office that I use for other things, but I feel like it could be prettier, and I want to see something nicer. This is it. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I want this to be a little poofier. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff this pillow in there, turn off my machine there, and oops, I started from the wrong end. Stuff away. Another argument for always, oops. Okay, clearly I'm struggling today, and I've scratched myself already. Another argument for double stitching, or doing the back stitch if you watched the video earlier, because you want to make sure that it's snug. And then we'll put this over it. So this is side one. And side two. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. But yeah, here's my pillow. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once I put it on the couch. So come along. All right. So, what do you think? How cute is this? And those are the letters I made earlier. I decided to, in a video, you can see the video another time, but I decided to put hooks on them. But what do you think? And look at this is compared to the other one. That's its sister. And this is it. Thanks for joining me. If you're not already doing so, please be sure to like, share, and follow. Have a wonderful day. Bye.